Hey guys and gals, I got another one for you today. Today I'm platooned up with Hoops, and I actually got 2 games for you, so bear with me. This first one is actually pretty unexciting, so I'm gonna fast forward through quite a bit of it. But I'm in the 50B, and me and Hoops both started in the bottom, so we're gonna make our way up towards the north. It is an encounter match, and this little vanguard is keeping me spotted, and if we're gonna advance, this vanguard needs to die. Okay, so I missed my first 2 shots. I'm getting a big punishment, which is good. If you're on the other team, to get down here is important. I think if this vanguard stayed in H0, he probably could have just ran the whole southern flank, and I wouldn't have pushed over here this far. But since he exposed himself, I tried to dig him out of this position. Costly though, I paid a huge price to get it, and the 50B has no camo, so every time I poke up out of this hole, I'm going to be spotted. So we're going to fast forward it. And really they changed where the flag is because of balancing issues. Generally this side would just crawl through the lake, and then the red team would just sit in A0, and of course when you're in A0 you couldn't see the flag, so this team could just cap. And people whined and cried about it because they didn't know how to engage the cap without getting shot from long distance snipers, and really it was just a matter of taking G0. If you took G0, you could get cross shots into the flag, and nobody wanted to go down there because they thought that they would get killed or something. I don't know. So it still plays out pretty much the same. The northern spawn sits on A0, and some people travel away from it, but generally they'll die, and then it's just like a standoff between the guys at the bottom of the hill and then the guys at the very top of the hill. It's actually a pretty boring match now, whereas before, at least where the flag was, it couldn't be covered by A0, so it forced the northern spawn team off of the hill, and now they can just sit up there and cover their cap, so it's pretty annoying. Alright, so now I'm going to slow it down, and I'm going to show you the accuracy of the 50B, or lack thereof. So I got 3 shells in my clip, and I missed that shot. Now the FE215B's lower plate is barely showing there, but since I was detected or targeted, excuse me, I figured I couldn't stay there long. It's probably already looking at me. As far as the match goes, I took this position to get vision out for the south, and then you can see Hoops took position in like C8, C9 underneath their spawn, which is a really nice spot if you have support. And why did I even show this game? Because obviously I haven't done anything but spotted 3,300 damage. Well, I just wanted to show you guys that you can impact the game in more ways than just damage. There's just certain maps and setups where as long as you take a good position, you can affect your team's outcome, and you don't always have to be like the highest damage dealer. Now my gun's broke, so this is going to be a really difficult shot. I couldn't even make these shots when my gun wasn't broken, so both shells miss, and it doesn't really matter. You can see that we crushed them, and Hoops and I were a huge reason why that happened. They tried to all-in Hoops a couple times up there, and he had some support, so he was able to make that position work, keep them spotted if they looked over the cliff ridge, and now it's just driving. You see I did 0 damage, and honestly guys, I am not a big fan of the 50B. You need to be a very patient player to play this, and it's a lot like the machine, so you have no camo, and you can't sneak around. Your burst damage is good, but you don't really have a long time to aim, and when you're moving, your dispersion is terrible. So let's get to end game stats. I did triple zeros. Hoops only does 300 damage, so even though we did 300 damage and 2 kills between the 2 of us, and I shouldn't even say between the 2 of us, it's all the Hoops did all of that. We did get a lot of assists here. So Hoops gets 4,000 assisted. I do 3,300. That's a huge impact. 7,000 assisted damage. All right, so let's flip the script, and this time it is going to be no problem getting the damage done. And this is why you guys are here, to watch the E100 and the mouse do their thing, get a city match. And generally when me and Hoops are platooned up, in whatever tanks. Let's say mediums on field maps, heavies on city maps. We just have a really good time because we know how to use our tanks, and we're going to use it to the best of our ability. So we're in our Super Heavies, and we got Berlin. It's encounter match, and we're going to head to the north here. I haven't played this map in this variant very often, so not 100% sure how it usually plays out, but it already looks like we went to a pretty good position. As the E100, I'm going to take point and hopefully buy some time for Hoops to get up here, and he's got more armor than I do, so he can even put the pressure on a little bit better than I can. Now, the E100 is a great defensive tank, but it has a lot of weak points. Premium ammo can go through the cheeks, through the neck, through the top cap. There's a little bar on the top. Lower plate's not that strong unless it's angled, but then you give up your drive wheel. You really want to make micro movements in this just to make sure that people can't hit your weak points, just like this STI is doing to me. He's twitching a lot. Now, I figured I could get a heat round through his shoulder plate, but I think he might have just been a little angle. Could have been. Oh my god, I can't speak English. He's just angled too much. Right there, their E100 for some reason was sitting behind their STI and their 50 TP rather than taking point and using his armor. But Oops just face hugs him, and you can see how easily we can get through this top bar. So my first shell went right through his neck, the second shell goes up through his bar, so just really showing off the two weak points. And I believe Hoops was penning him through the cheeks, and the IS-7 shot him through the side. So these side skirts make this tank wonderful at side scraping, and you just have to really be aware of where people are aiming at you to maximize the armor. I'd say it's kind of like the IS-4, the E5, and a little bit more reliable than them, I think. But it's comparable. The twitch armor, where you don't have to, but the more you twitch in it, the more effective your armor is going to be. Now, this is one of my favorite things to do in the E100. Face hog Russian heavy tanks, because they're so short and you generally can shoot right down on top of them. And besides the IS-7, all of them have that weak spot on the turret right in the front of their gun. So we'll get through that engagement. We got 3,500 damage, 800 blocked, but we weren't really getting fired at too much. And obviously that's apparent with how many hit points I have left. So I'm going to go with this E4, and we feel like it's cleanup, but their team is condensed into one spot of the map, and they're starting to come back. So we're only up by one tank, and I feel like this is definitely throwable. So Hoops and I just are communicating all the time, and we want to make smart plays here. I told him with a full health E4, so we're going to be aggressive, and if they start to push on us, then he needs to push in down the 3 line. Let's come around the corner, slap that E5 in the side of the head, take him down. Hoops has got his foot on the cap. Just put a little cap pressure on them, so the Reds have to decide what they want to do. It's T-57 heavy over angles, but I didn't really want to shoot his track, so I just took a shot right into his lower plate. Now here I'm just going to try to prioritize the tanks, and I felt E4 was the most dangerous, but he's starting to back up, so I'm just going to throw one into this VKA. Now the Conqueror's sitting here fighting the scout in the field. He's oblivious to what's going on, and then he realizes there's an E100 coming. Slap him in the side. E4 cleans him up. And I'm just going to come right over on this E4. You see how I'm angled here? He has no interest in shooting at me. Get a shot into his side, shut him down. Now they just have a scout left, and I'm not even close to it, so I'm not going to be able to get up there. But the end result, 6,000 damage. We blocked 1,300. We assisted for 92. And am I going to get this shot? No. So I was trying to aim the shot. Maybe he was tracked there, and I could have thrown a shell, but then he gets spotted again, and he's driving away. So I realized that I don't have a shot there. Now, my thought process is if he does get away, he's going to be coming down the 9 line, so I'll try to head up this road and get across. But our scout gets to him, shuts him down, thankfully, because I didn't really want to drive anymore. Collect 4 kills as well. Get to in-game stats here. So just back-to-back games. One where we don't impact the game with damage, but then Hoops does 3,000, 2 kills, and I get 6,000 with 4 kills. Ace my E100, and it just shows what you can do for your team. Either throw down vision, get the spots for your team so they can kill the Reds and advance forward, or make the advance yourself and be the aggressor, push forward, make it happen for your team. I'll quit babbling. That's all I got for you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.